Welcome to the show today, Kim. Today we have Dr. Kim Meathrel of Bespoke Skin MD joining us from Kingston. February is Love Month at your clinic. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we're just laughing before we got going here that our offices are about 200 meters apart, but because we're still in COVID, this is the most effective way to do a session like this. So
yeah, COVID friendly.
Yeah, it's good to see you. We're very close, but we're still zooming it out here. So obviously it's important for, all the listeners to really understand, what is Bespoke Skin MD and how did you get to the point where you wanted to transition to being an entrepreneur?
Well, that's a big question. It's been quite the journey to get to where I am right now. A lot of turns in the career path, that's for sure. Where I'm at right now with Bespoke Skin MD is really, it's been a journey to find a place that really expresses me as a person and my goals and sort of my entire philosophy of patient approach. And I picked the name Bespoke to really reflect the fact that it's tailored, it's customized. I really wanted to create an environment for my clients where they felt that they were receiving treatment plans that were made just for them, really focused on the individual, really personalized, not sort of these pre-packaged kind of plans where everyone receives the same advice. And so that was really important to me, that we created this environment in Bespoke where it was very personalized, very tailored to the individual and their goals. So it's a result of several different areas in my career, both triumphs and failures, and learning to basically be where I am right now and how I'm going to express my career goals as a person. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So how many years has the clinic been open?
We're in our 4th year now. So we opened late 2018. We're just trying to get our feet under us in 2019. And then of course, 2020, I had to revamp everything. So it's been, of course, a bit of a journey here just with COVID and having to even remake again how we're doing everything. So yeah, 4 years now. This is the 4th year. Still here.
Okay, so I'm sure everyone watching this or listening to it in the future can understand the COVID challenges you've had in the last 2 years. What were some of the biggest challenges in the first 2 years that maybe you expected or more importantly didn't expect?
So, I think the biggest challenge anytime someone's opening a new business, of course, is trying to get all of those pieces together in that pre-opening phase when you're just trying to get organized, just trying to build everything from where should we go? Is this the correct location? And, lining up everything in terms of the design. Do I have the correct location? Do I have the correct aesthetic in my building that's expressing where I want to be? All of those pieces initially. And that was, I would say, a year and a half in the planning stage before even opening the doors, and just design, location, picking the treatments, picking the equipment, all of the finance pieces. It's crazy when you're trying to build something brand new from scratch. So many challenges in that. And then I would say the biggest challenge just getting established, and I think this goes for any business, is finding your team, because no entrepreneur, no business is just one person. And you can have all of this vision and all of these goals, but until you find that correct team of people that share that with you and share your vision, you're not going to get anywhere. And I think really that's the biggest challenge for any entrepreneur: finding your team, finding your people, getting a team that works together to actually get you to achieve that vision to where you want to be. So I would say, biggest challenge bar none is finding that team to work with.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think a lot of people, especially in entrepreneurs, they struggle to maybe see the value, and then once they see the value, they struggle to put it together. What would you say a strong team member is for you? Like, what do you need a team member to be in your clinic?
So communication is key, and making sure that everyone is really communicating on the same board in terms of how are we treating people in this clinic, the image that we're projecting, and understanding each other, who's responsible for what. And I think that is probably the biggest lesson that I learned from my previous business, was that although my previous business was financially successful, the business relationship was not. And so the biggest takeaway from that previous experience and the breakdown of that business relationship was communication and team, and just having that same vision of how we work, how we want to present ourselves, where we want to go. And so finding that in the team member is really, really key.
Okay. And you feel like you've got a good team now?
Yeah, right now, I think the team that's here understands me and where I want to go and how we want to treat people. And I'm pretty confident that we're going to be building and going ahead with the team that we have, and hopefully expanding and hopefully bringing new team members on too. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, good. So would you say that, obviously you went to med school and you're also an entrepreneur. What do you feel like more every day, a doctor or an entrepreneur? And how do you kind of go back and forth between those two modes?
It's a balance right now. I mean, when I come to work and I'm treating my patients, I'm treating them as a doctor, but the rest of the time I'm an entrepreneur. Like, I literally live and breathe this place, right? 7 days a week. When you own your own business, you never turn it off. I'll be sitting there in the evenings thinking about, marketing and what kind of campaign do we want to do, and Facebook posts, do we want to run a special this month? Like, that never turns off. So, and even at lunchtime, I'll go and sit down with the staff and be like, oh, what do you think we should do next month for a campaign or for specials? So, when I'm seeing my patients, my clients, that's clearly doctor mode. And then literally the rest of the time is entrepreneur, business owner. Like, how do we grow this place? How do we keep it going? Where do we go from here? So, yeah.
So would you say that you bring your entrepreneurial thoughts home with you?
All the time. Yeah.
Would your family agree with you as well?
Yeah, we do a lot of business talk. My husband is very, very involved in this business behind the scenes, for sure. And even my kids like to come up with suggestions of like marketing and Facebook posts, and yeah.
Amazing. I'm not surprised. So you've got this business and you've got a busy family and you live and breathe it. Is there anything else that you do on top of those two things, like throughout your week, or any other endeavors that you're into? How do you put
Throughout
it
the
all
week?
together?
Well, let's see. I'm mom's taxi service, right? Driving to hockey and dance class and gymnastics and all that kind of stuff. And so that definitely eats into the free time, right? That pretty busy with the kids.
Yeah.
Trying to balance everything. I mean, I would say that I don't sleep that much, honestly. So I do a lot of work early in the morning. I tend to get up sometimes around like 4 a.m, and I find I can be really productive. Like 4 to 6 in the morning is a really good time for me because it's quiet at home and everyone else is asleep. So I can do a lot of thinking and paperwork and that kind of stuff in those hours. That's how I I did law school a few years ago, and I mostly did law school between 4 and 6 a.m. before going to work. And
Classic
then I'm
hours.
working on my MBA right now between 4 and 6 a.m. too. So yeah, that's when I do my thinking.
Okay, amazing. So you went to med school. You're an entrepreneur of a busy clinic. Why law school? Why business school? Like, what does that mean for you? You know, why do you do these things?
Well,
I'm sure you've been
that's an
asked this
excellent
before.
question. My husband asked me the same question. Why do you do these things? Um, so, I mean, business, I think MBA is obvious. In medicine, we don't get any business training at all. In fact, it's frowned upon during med school and residency to even have any sort of financial discussion as to how you're going to make a living and how you're going to get paid. And like, it's really, really frowned upon. You do not have these discussions at all. And I think that's actually a disservice to physicians, because the majority of us do run some sort of a business. Family doctors are running a business. Anyone that's in a private practice is running a business, yet we receive no business education, no financial education at all. And I think that really needs to change. And so that's, the obvious reason why I'm doing the MBA is because I had no business training. I have, ran a business before and have kind of, boots on the ground kind of business knowledge, but didn't have any formal business training. So that's why I wanted to do the MBA. The law school thing, that's like, again, a little twisty turn in the road. I first started doing my master's degree in bioethics. And as I was doing my bioethics degree, I really enjoyed the legal aspect. Obviously, law and ethics are intertwined. And so then I just decided to go to law school as one does. You just, follow your pursuits of things that you find interesting. And then while I was in law school, I actually really enjoyed the business law. So it's just, twists and turns that takes me, never gets bored.
Yeah, you don't sound like you ever get bored.
Never get bored.
Oh my gosh. So coming back to the clinic, your customers, what do they want when they come see you? Like what problems are they trying to solve for, and how do they perceive those problems when they come?
So I mean, of course, they're coming because they have something they don't like physically, whether it's, wrinkles or saggy skin, or they feel they're overweight. And I think a lot of it, so although it's a physical thing they're coming to ask, there's a big tie-in, of course, in our society with your appearance and how you're perceived. Even career, there's lots of psychological studies out there that show that good looking people make more money, they get hired, they're considered to be more intelligent. So although there's sort of this superficial level of literally superficial, underneath that, I think the clients are being really driven by this society that we live in, where your appearance is very much tied to career goals and how you're perceived. And there's more to it than just, I don't like my wrinkles.
Would you say there's a large mental health component?
Not mental health in that people are, depressed or anything. I think it's a psychological drive where people want to be perceived externally how they feel internally. And that's something that I hear a lot, where people say, I feel really young, I feel really vibrant and active, and I have a lot to offer, but I feel like I'm being passed over or seen as being, past my prime because of my appearance, particularly people that are in like sales, very front-facing sales, where they feel like their external appearance maybe doesn't match, right, what they're feeling inside or what they have to offer. So, yeah.
Okay. And then when someone comes to see you, you know, how long, or like, what's the path that they would go down to kind of like, you know, solve for that issue that they have, you know, generally speaking?
Um, Path, like in terms of what we do for them here, you mean, or?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people come to any business looking for a solution for, you know, what ails them or what they want or what issue they're trying to solve for, and then there's the
Yeah.
time delay, and some solutions come faster than others. So
Yeah.
is it immediate? Is it delayed gratification for them? I think, you know, I think I know some of these answers, but the people that are going to listen to this, our listeners, may be interested in this.
Yeah. So it depends, you know, really what they want. There are some things that we can do that have a really immediate change on their appearance. And then some things are a series of treatments, some things require maintenance and ongoing. And I really try hard to set expectations because, of course, there's nothing I can do to completely stop the aging process. Obviously, I can't stop gravity. I mean, amazing if I could just, you know, stop gravity and aging. So being realistic with people about the fact that, you know, we can do these treatments and make an appearance now, a change in your appearance now, but you're going to have to maintain it. You're going to be coming back. Like, this is a multi-year relationship that we're establishing in terms of, you know, addressing what your short-term goals are, and then how are we going to go forward, keeping you looking the way that you want to look, being realistic about, you know, the physical aging process and gravity, physics.
Okay. All right. Well, with all these degrees, I think solving gravity, it will be the next.
Yeah. I think, you know what, honestly, the trends in the cosmetic industry and the anti-aging industry are not solving gravity, but really going towards a cellular treatment for aging, like really looking at not just physical, you know, external anti-aging, but I think we're going to see a real trend to actually anti-aging on a cellular level, like manipulating DNA. And yeah, I think that's where we're going.
Okay. Can you expand on that a little bit and maybe layman's terms would be great.
Well, I think, I mean, there's a ton of research going on into what actually causes aging in people, right? On what's happening in our cells that actually causes us to age. And can we intervene in that? Can we reverse that beyond just, you know, skin peels and making the skin look better? Can we actually anti-age the skin and reverse aging at a cellular level? And tons of research going on in that. And, you know, big labs, even out of like big name labs out of Harvard and, you know, huge places like that are looking at, can we actually manipulate humans to live longer, to live healthier, and to actually slow down the physical aging process. And I think that's where we're going to go in this industry, beyond just doing chemical peels or those things, like actually coming up with treatments, whether it's medication, injectable, IV, that will truly slow down the aging process. Yeah, it's kind of cool stuff that's going on out there.
Do you get a sense of when we could see that stuff be commercialized?
I mean, there's a little bit of that happening right now with some of the stem cell technologies, in terms of, you know, topical applied stem cells. There's some fringe places that are doing injectable stem cell stuff. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think it's coming though. Okay. I don't know if we'll see it, but probably our kids will.
Okay. All right. Well, good for them, I guess. I've got their stem cells in a freezer in Toronto. Maybe I should get those back and put them on my own.
Me too. I have all three of my kids in a freezer. They're probably in the same freezer.
Yeah. Just hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging.
Not just
hanging out in the freezer in Toronto.
So do you think that there's going to be an innovation between where we are now and what we were just talking about, or do you think that is the next one?
No, I think that's where we're going.
Okay.
I think that we're going to actually start manipulating people at the cellular level, at the genetic level, whether that's good or bad. I mean, of course, that's another ethical debate about whether we should or should not be doing that. But I think that's where we're going.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds interesting. I hope I get to see it, because I would love to go from 80 back to 30. That would be fantastic.
Would you? Do you really want to go back to 30?
Looks wise? Sure.
Looks wise?
Yeah, that's about it.
I wouldn't. I mean, maybe looks wise, but I would not want to actually go back to 30. No, I wouldn't want to do that again.
So in your industry right now, what would your peers say is, one of the biggest challenges, or a couple challenges that are facing your industry right now for doctor-led clinics?
Challenges, I mean, beyond COVID of course was crazy for everyone, with shutdowns and not being able to operate and not being able to offer treatments, and that's been really tough on people. I think one of the big challenges is a safety issue, because what we're seeing right now, as these treatments become more and more popular and more accepted, that the standard of training is being diluted, and that's becoming a challenge. Like, there's some places in the world right now where you don't even have to be a doctor or a nurse to be doing injectables, and that is pretty darn dangerous, and they're seeing a lot of problems in those kind of areas. So that's definitely a challenge, is maintaining, as it becomes more widely acceptable, to maintain safety and training. But also, as it becomes more widely acceptable, that's a big area of opportunity too, right?
Yeah, no, I could.
Big opportunity. Yeah. Okay,
well, before I let you go, because I know you've got some appointments coming soon, I did want to give you an either or question. You can answer them both, but I'll ask you two questions. Can you share your best productivity hack, or the best book you've read lately, or both?
My best productivity hack. I mean, other than the fact that I don't sleep much, I mean, honestly, that's how I get stuff done, is just not sleeping, but I'm not sure that that's really a hack that most.
Well, let's spend a second on that. So how many hours do you sleep? Because everyone's going to be wondering what not much means.
Like maybe 4 to 5 hours on the average night, because I'm usually up by 4 to 4-ish in the morning.
Okay. Yeah. And is that enough sleep to get you through the day? Like, I'm guessing it is, based on everything that you do.
Well, I drink a lot of coffee too. I'm constantly like with my coffee cup. So I just find, I think people have to find the time where they are most productive. For me, it's early in the morning. Some people might be night owls. Figure out what that time is where you have the ability to sit down, concentrate, and not be disturbed, and really focus during that time. So being truthful with yourself about when that time is that you're most, because I know it's not the morning for a lot of people, sometimes it's evening, and then making sure you protect that time in your day, so that the time where you can be most productive is set aside for you to actually sit down and do the things that you need to get done. We're so stuck on this idea that we have to work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and that's when you have to be running your business. But that's not true now. When we're working, a lot of people are working from home. We're all so connected. You can do so much online. Like, you can run your business anytime that works for you. So I think people being truthful with themselves and kind of getting out of this 9 to 5 mindset that this is when we run the business, and finding the time when you can be truly most productive.
Okay, that's definitely helpful. Yeah. what would you say to somebody? Well, I think I got that from you. So if somebody said, but I can't sleep 4 to 5 hours, I need 7 to 8. I think is your
Yeah,
message that you still find that time that is when you do your best work and you make sure you're
yeah,
awake, motivated, and focused.
exactly. Yeah. And that you have space set aside where you're not being disturbed and you can really focus and get that time done. I mean, we're so connected right now. People's phones are constantly going off. You know, you're constantly getting a message on your watch or whatever, and it can be really disturbing. We're also, I think, because there's so much social media and all these little clips, right? Our little TikToks and the little videos, that our minds are getting shorter and shorter in terms of our attention span, and that I think actually interferes with people's productivity when you're only focusing for these short period of time. So finding that time that works for you, putting it aside, making sure it's protected and that you can actually focus.
So if you're talking with your kids as they get a little older, how would you describe that being, would you describe that as being an advantage and like never been more of an advantage being able to have that time every day where you focus for 1 or 2 hours where most people are really struggling to find, more than 15 minutes in a row to focus? Like, is that like a real key to unlock kind of someone's potential or get them to where they want to be?
Yeah, it's finding that time, it's protecting that time, finding the time when you can focus the most. And I mean, even when I was an undergrad, I would be studying at really weird hours of the day that would sometimes bother, my undergrad roommates. But just really finding the time where your brain works the best. Everyone's brain's different. So
Yeah,
just got to find that time. Yeah.
absolutely. Do you have a book that you'd like to share, that maybe your favorite book of all time or something you've read recently? Textbook?
Um, well, let's see. Um, I would say my favorite book of all time, which actually I think is super relevant, and maybe I'll go back and read again right now. I'm a big fan of Steinbeck, in particular, The Grapes of Wrath. And actually, I think people should go back and read that, even though you probably read it in high school.
Yeah.
It's actually quite relevant to what's happening right now in society.
Really?
That entire book is about people, of course, it's the depression, people really suffering and struggling through an economic crisis, a huge change in the world. And the whole message of that book is about human resiliency. It's about family connections. And ultimately, I mean, the last scene of that book really is about sharing when you have nothing left to share, and really, um, community,
Okay.
caring about your community, even when you may be suffering yourself. So I think, and that was really the message I took away from that book. I mean, the last scene in it, and I think it's actually super relevant to what's happening in the world right now. Even though you're hurting, and you're feeling stressed, you need to actually care about the people around you and the community. Yeah.
That's a good message. I will definitely go back and read it. I'm an avid reader, but in high school, I was an avid reader of the first and last chapter of every book.
Yeah.
So,
Go pick up The Grapes of Wrath. I'm actually a huge fan of Steinbeck. I love all of his books, just his style of writing, and just so you can just get into his world so easily. But go pick up The Grapes of Wrath again, and I think you'll see that it's actually pretty relevant to what's happening. Even though it was like 1930, I think it was 39 that it was published, it's actually pretty relevant to what we're experiencing right now.
okay, I will let you know. I will circle back and let you know. Out of reading more than the first and last chapter.
All right.
So I'll let you end with a little bit of a plug, but what would you say to somebody that's thinking about coming to your clinic and just isn't sure yet?
So I would say Bespoke Skin MD, we're all about, as I said in the beginning, finding the goals of the individual and really customizing our treatments for them. We strive really hard to be, judgment-free zone. People come in with complaints about all sorts of things that sometimes they're embarrassed about. They think it's really trivial to be here. But we're judgment-free, totally supportive, and really focused on the individual, helping them achieve, the goals that they're looking for. Making people happy, really. That's what this is all about, making people happy.
Yeah, absolutely. So where would they find you? People that haven't heard of your clinic yet, where's the best place to go see what you guys are about?
Can check out our website at www.bespokeskinmd.com. We've got most of our treatments up there, our Instagram feed and Facebook. Yeah, we're all over the place.
I'll make sure to link up all of those links in the show notes. So anybody listening or watching can just click on them and they don't have to remember exactly what you just said.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks so much for joining us today. Kim, really appreciate the time with you. And I think that people will be amazed with not only your commitment to your clients and your patients, but also everything that you are trying to achieve in a very short window every single day, starting at 4 a.m. So I appreciate you sharing all of that. It was really great chatting with you.
Thank you.